So if Ken comes along and if Ken spins up another little app real quick, we could, then we really are multi-cloud because we have IBM Cloud, my laptop, and then AWS where I can talk to there. And now all of a sudden it doesn't matter where my app is running because it's all on its own overlay network with its own domain. Like I could,
Yep.
this is amazing,
Yep.
right? Like this is not supposed to be this easy.
It is that easy though, isn't it? It's amazing. And like you said, your own domain. That's to me, one of the coolest things is you no longer have to worry about registering your own domain names, right? You just
Yeah.
Right.
invent them.
I mean, as dumb as easy it is like your internal wiki or whatever, right? For your
Right.
company, you could have it sitting on a machine with no access to the internet and do all this, or access to the internet or
Outbound.
outbound. Thank
Outbound.
you. No outbound access in a data center somewhere secured.
Only
And then
outbound.
yeah. Oh my goodness. This is, wow.
And now what's really neat is because, like Ken said, with that attribute-based authorization, if he did make that second service and gave that second service the correct attribute, as soon as he makes it, your client will have access to whatever the new services that he provides. So you don't have to go and touch a whole bunch of endpoints either. When I make my services myself, just like you with your JJ's awesome, totally not production network, I make a Clint, Clint's endpoints, and I make a Clint's services, and then whenever I want my endpoints to get access to a new service, I just give the service the correct attribute, and I don't have to worry about anything. It just all goes together.
This is
Right,
bonkers.
I'm gonna run an application over on my side so that you can so we can wire our clusters together.
Okay.
You've got the toy app running on. You've got an extreme, almost production, non-production, truly not production web server over on your side. I'll install HTTP bin on mine. I've just done a kubectl expose to create an HTTP bin listener inside my cluster on 80. And now I'm going to create a deployment with the HTTP bin container, which is a little REST server for testing. And it has one useful function I want to employ today, which is the IP echo. So it'll tell you the IP address of that the request originated from, the HTTP request originated from. So let's take a look at our pods. We have HTTP bin is up
I see
and running.
I see you're a professional Kubernetes developer because you have a crash loop back off going on right now. And it's so
Yeah.
it's nice to know I'm with professionals over here. It's good stuff.
Yep. I didn't clean that one up because that we're all about the warts here. So so yeah, I'm gonna go back over to the console now that that's up and running. I've already got a Ziti host on my side. So I've already done the helm install Ziti that you did on your side, only I did it with my own identity. So where is that identity?
The ZD host is obviously namespace bound, I'm assuming. Could you do it host bound? So like a daemon set or something to run this across your whole cluster, or what's the best way to do that?
So if your Kubernetes network policy only allows a namespace to talk to itself, then you would do helm install Ziti for each namespace that you wanted to expose something, because the one that you installed in the default namespace would not be able to quote host any of the cluster workloads that are in a different namespace.
Okay.
So yeah, you could slice it up any way you want. Another option is to use the sidecar pattern, which is one of the guys in this diagram here.
We're gonna have to start talking about Istio. We're gonna start talking about Istio.
We don't have to. We don't have to. I mean, this is all interoperable with Istio. You don't have to choose between Ziti and Istio, but they are solving some of the same problems, right? But you probably want Istio as a bespoke service mesh, and you probably want Ziti for application-specific networks.
Yep.
All right.
Good answer, by the way. Good answer.
Thanks.
Good stuff.
All right. So I'm going to pop back into the console here, and which tab is it? Okay. So this Ken cluster exit is my helm install Ziti host identity. That's the one that's running in my cluster. It's got access. It can read cluster DNS, right? It can find services there, anything I want to describe. So let's make a service for HTTP bin. Do this again. Simple service. This will be Ken REST test.
Oh, I like that rest test. That's good.
REST
That's good.
test. So
like it.
we'll just let all of the clients that have access to the welcome wagon policy access this service as well, and we'll call it REST test.kentest. That's going to be hard to remember, isn't it? How about just rest.kentest, port 80, and we're using a Ziti host there, so we'll say that one has. When I did yours, I used the app mention form, and this time I'm going to use the hashtag role attribute form just to show you can do either one.
Okay.
So if you could use hashtag role attributes if you wanted a whole bunch of endpoints to host the same service, and
Nice.
they would all be doing the same. Like whenever they received a connection, they would be doing the same protocol, DNS, and port lookup to find the thing.
Okay.
And so in my case, it's HTTP bin default svc is the minimal there. We could put the .closer.local, but that's what it's gonna search that cluster name, cluster zone anyway, and it's on port 80. So short and sweet, HTTP bin, create that. And so now if you were to do use like curl and excuse me, on your computer, compose an HTTP request to rest.kentest/IP, you should get back a response.
All right, let's see. Bring my screen back in here. And then we'll do curl HTTP and already forgotten, I'm sorry.
It was a rest.test.
Rest.kentest.
Rest.kentest. I'm glad you're here, Clint. I keep forgetting these details. Yeah, /IP.
/IP.
Yep. There you go.
Nice.
So let's make a mental note of that IP address so we can do a little comparison back on my screen. Lots of flipping around here, but we're wiring up multiple disparate things, so it's kind of necessary. So if I say get pods, we look at the IP address of my Ziti host pod. Is that a match?
That is a match, Ken.
All right. So
huzzah!
My HTTP bin container running HTTP bin says, hey, I just got an HTTP request from here, which is the exit inside of my cluster namespace that's hosting that service. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And by the way, I forgot to do this. I was going to do applause.
It works.
It works.
Yay.